Hello, good morning and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining today for Apex new features and roadmap session. I would like to thank APAC OUC for this great opportunity to meet with all of you today. My name is Chaitanya. I'm a product manager on the Oracle Apex product development team. On the screen, you see my Twitter handle. So feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or connect with me on LinkedIn to know what's happening in the Oracle Apex world, Oracle Autonomous Database, Apex Service, and so on. In today's session, I would like to first provide an overview of what Apex is all about. This is for the benefit of those who are new to Apex, who just got started with Apex and would like to know what it is. And then we'll proceed into the Apex new features section. So we'll cover what has been introduced in the last 1 year in 2021. And then finally, we'll also cover roadmap, like what's coming up in Apex in this year. On the screen, you see apex.oracle.com. So this is a one-stop shop for everything or anything about Oracle Apex. What is Oracle Apex? Oracle Apex is the world's most popular low-code application development platform. It is Oracle's strategic low-code application development platform that enables you to build scalable, secure enterprise applications with world-class features that can be deployed anywhere. Apex runs everywhere your Oracle database runs. And using Apex, you can build and deploy compelling applications that can solve real business problems and provide immediate value. Well, to build applications with Apex, you don't need to be an expert in a vast array of technologies. You just need to focus on solving the business problem and let Apex take care of the rest. Apex is globally popular with more than 500,000 plus pro, workgroup, analyst, and citizen developers building applications across different industry verticals in more than 140 plus countries. We have 2 million plus active applications and 3,000 plus applications created on an average per day. And Apex is the most used enterprise low-code platform. Well, what do Apex developers do? What kind of applications do Apex developers build? You can build opportunistic and enterprise applications that can scale to hundreds and thousands of users. Spreadsheet replacement is one of the common use cases for Oracle Apex. You can build applications for reporting and analytics, and you can also build applications as SaaS extensions. Apex has got a strong, vibrant, and enthusiastic developer community globally. There is a strong engagement on social media, and what you see, Oracle Apex hashtag is widely being used on Twitter and other social media channels. Apex community regularly meet in global conferences, events, and mentoring sessions as well. On the screen, you see the URL oracle.github.io.apex. This is the official Apex GitHub repository, which we introduced a couple of months ago. So you can get your sample applications, starter applications, plugins, and more on this page. Sample applications are the apps which are designed to highlight specific functionality. Basically, you can learn the product by using any of the sample applications. Can it be sample reporting? Can it be sample cards or sample maps or whatever? And there are also starter applications, which are functional apps, which are standalone point solutions, which are designed to meet simple requirements. So you can use these applications out of the box, or you can customize them for your requirement. And then apex.oracle.com/ideas is what we introduced in 2021. So this is for you to request your new features or enhancements. So if you have an idea, for example, on how we can make Oracle Apex even better, that can be a new functionality which is right now missing or an enhancement to something that already exists. We would love to definitely hear from you. And our goal is to make Apex the best low-code platform on the planet. So we welcome you to share your thoughts and feedback through this application, ideas application. Now let's take a look back. Apex in 2021. In 2021, we had Apex 21.1 and Apex 21.2 released. Apex 21.1 was released in May 2021. And a couple of new features that we introduced in Apex 21.1 that you see on the slide. The first one being Maps region. So Apex 21.1 introduced a new native map component that allows you to add powerful, feature-rich, and interactive maps to your Apex applications in just a few minutes. These maps are powered by our Oracle eLocation service, and so they are ready to use without any API key. This support also includes Oracle Spatial, like you can have GeoJSON, simple numeric columns, and columns of the SDO geometry type can be mapped with ease. You can also use spatial features such as spatial SQL functions, indexing, for example. These are fully customizable maps, and you can create maps with the layers such as points, lines, polygons, 3D polygons, and heat maps. You can also have your map set with faceted search, for example. And the next feature is the new application data loading. You can now easily add data import capabilities to allow your users to upload CSV, XLSX, XML, and JSON data formats to your applications with a new data loading process. Powerful capabilities with this feature include, for example, configuring to append, replace, or merge data, perform data conversions using transformation rules and lookup queries, and even load data into tables or collections. The new Apex Data Loading API provides you with all the hooks that you need to handle custom data load processing. The next feature is faceted search enhancements. Faceted search now supports maps and calendar regions. And starting 21.1, facets support display toggling, allowing end users to easily show or hide facets. Facets that are hidden will not be counted, and they do not have any performance impact. The next feature in 21.1 is universal theme and UI and theme roller updates. So Apex 21.1 introduced 95 new icons for Font Apex, which includes icons, for example, medical applications, map marker, and new file types. The style sheets have been completely refactored, and they now use CSS variables, grid layout, flex spots to provide a more modern and robust interface. In Apex 21.1, Redwood Light has been updated so that it's closely aligned with Oracle's Redwood design and now supports customization options using Theme Roller. The next feature in Apex 21.1 that we talk about is improvements to REST data sources. So you can now define your REST data sources based on CSV data, enabling you to treat any CSV file on the web just like a table. You can build reports or charts directly on the REST data source, or you can use REST data source synchronization. Apex 21.1 introduced REST data source conversions, such as, for example, converting upper to lowercase, trimming white space, and so on. The next one is native Markdown support. Markdown support has been greatly improved in Apex 21.1, and we introduced a new PL SQL Markdown parser and also includes enhancements to display markdown formatted content in items and columns. The next feature is the new date picker item type. In Apex 21.1, the date picker item has been completely revamped, and it now supports additional display modes, time selection, dynamic minimum and maximum date ranges, and several user experience and accessibility improvements have been made. For the developer experience, we made numerous improvements to the code editor within the application builder to provide a better experience to developers. You can now import zip files of your application exports using the Apex Export utility, find application and page checksums for easy comparisons across different environments. And starting Apex 21.1, SQL Workshop includes a new Create Spatial Index wizard. Apex 21.1 introduces numerous security improvements, such as an attribute for application items, which allow users to escape characters, a default referer policy HTTP header, and an increase to the maximum session idle timeout. We made improvements to classic and interactive reports, including support for lazy loading, complex text layout languages when exporting to PDF, and variable height rows in interactive grids. Starting Apex 21.1, you can now define client-side conditions, server-side conditions, authorizations, and build options for actions of dynamic actions. The number field page item type now includes automatic formatting according to its format mask and client-side validation. The client-side validation messaging is more consistent with server-side validation messaging, and it no longer displays the error pop-up. There is now GeoJSON and SDO geometry support in the Apex JSON and Apex Execute packages. Now let's move to Apex 21.2 new features. Apex 21.2 was released in November 2021. And one of the prominent feature of Apex 21.2 is smart filters. Smart filters is a new search component in Apex, which allows you to quickly narrow your data down with filter suggestions or search terms. You can use this smart filters to provide your users with a simplified search experience, which eliminates clutter and provides a single control to instantly find the information they are looking for. A smart filter includes a powerful search bar, which provides built-in autocomplete for your filters, and it supports searching for multiple terms and also provides easy keyboard navigation. Search suggestions, which are the key for smart filters, they are based on the filters you have defined, and they will be displayed as you type or as chips below the search bar. The next feature in Apex 21.2 is progressive web applications. You can now define your Apex applications as progressive web applications or PWAs to take advantage of advanced caching and improved performance. You can also install these applications on your smartphone of choice with device-specific installation instructions. Basically, PWAs or progressive web applications are faster applications. They leverage a special browser cache to store resources more efficiently, resulting in faster page load times. The next feature is universal theme and UI updates. Starting Apex 21.2, you can have greater control over your application's user interface with additional component positions across page templates, model dialog drawers, improved accessibility, smoother page loading, and much more. The updated reference application now provides live template option previews, documented CSS variables, and a new theme version menu in the header to quickly jump to reference applications for previous versions of the universal theme. Faceted search enhancements. Faceted search now has declarative support for multi-value columns, as improved accessibility, and gives you more control over how a facet is displayed. Starting Apex 21.2, you can easily create facets for multi-value columns stored as a separate string or JSON array. In addition, there are additional UI controls and numerous improvements to make the faceted search more usable and accessible. Updated alert and confirmation dialogues. The alert and confirmation dialogues now have an updated appearance and provide customization options for easily specifying the style, title, icon, and even custom button labels. In addition, the dialog message now supports HTML template directives, including client-side substitutions of item references for truly dynamic alerts. Geocoding and map items. You can now geocode your addresses and display a map as a page item without an API key. Apex 21.2 introduces a new page item that provides a list of possible matches to choose from when a user starts typing an address and returns the coordinates as well as the normalized address. In addition, the new display map item type enables you to quickly visualize a single coordinate on a map, which is ideal for displaying next to address information. REST catalogs and improvement. Starting Apex 21.2, users can search and browse through a catalog which contains metadata about REST services and create Apex REST data sources based on REST service metadata within this catalog. There is also built-in pagination support for simple HTTP REST data sources. Improved report download, subscriptions, and printing. Starting Apex 21.2, image columns are supported for downloaded reports where they will be embedded in the PDF, XLSX, or HTML export file. The download dialog provides an option to strip rich text, and in addition, the PDF accessibility property is now stored as a user preference. Interactive report subscriptions support all download formats now, and no longer send any email if there are no rows that were found. Then the next feature is improved editors. The new static file editor allows developers to create, edit, and rename static application, workspace, plugin, and theme files without the need for you to re-upload the file each time. This feature also includes automatic minification of JavaScript and CSS files and compilation of less files. We now have an improved editing experience in shared components that provides multiple conditional breadcrumb entries for a page. And you can now lodge your SQL in SQL commands. Like SQL commands support more than 32K characters. So this removes the previous limitation of not being able to edit columns which are longer than 32 KB. Environment setup. Apex 21.2 introduces environment banners, so you can easily tell apart different Apex environments by configuring an environment banner at the instance or workspace level. SAML authentication is now a supported authentication scheme which you can configure for both the Apex development environment as well as your own applications from within the administration services. Email and email template enhancements. The send email page process starting Apex 21.2 supports email templates with declarative substitutions. You can now use send email for automations. And finally, the data packager feature in Apex 21.2. So you can now easily migrate applications from one instance to another and include data in your tables. You can just specify a table or a list of tables for which the data gets exported within an application. And apart from these features, you can now build Apex applications in 21 additional languages. Like the runtime engine of Apex now supports a total of 31 languages. There are new JavaScript APIs for map region, facets region, Apex date, Apex items, and so on. And there are new PL/SQL APIs for Apex debug get page view ID, Apex debug get last image message ID, and so on. So I would like to quickly demo a couple of new features. So let me just go to my browser. And I would go to apex.oracle.com and log into my workspace over there. So go to App Builder. The first thing that I would like to showcase is the sample map sample application. To install sample map sample application, you need to go to the Apex GitHub page. So for example, you go to create here and you go to starter app and now click samples. That navigates you to the sample applications. So here you see, for example, the sample maps. Click download app and that will download the app for you. And then you can just go ahead and then install it in your Apex workspace. So I already have that installed. So what I would like to do is quickly run this for you and then show you different examples. So for example, here you see clickable map, search and show, faster search and things like that. Let's click the first one, clickable map. And you see that this map has two layers here, small airports and large airports. Unchecking small airports, you see the large airports. And unchecking the large airports, you see the small airports layer on the page. Now to edit this and see how it looks like, how the layers look like in Page Designer, let's go to the Page Designer. And you see here two layers. So this is points and this one also is points of points layer type. And you can also create different layer type like lines, polygons, heat map, extruded polygons in your map. Okay, so now let's go to the app builder again. And what I would like to do is I would like to quickly create an application. So for that, I go to SQL Workshop. I will go to Quick SQL. And then I would like to load some model here, some data for create some tables for my sample application, for my demo application. So I would like to quickly load this model, employee skills, for example. And I'm not going to make any changes, but simply would do some settings, give an object prefix for this. And I would like to also include drop statements for this and click Save Changes. Now I would like to save this SQL script. Save the SQL script is like APAC OUC, for example. Save the script. And now I would review and run this script. So what I do is I run this. And then click run now. So there are already existing tables. So those get dropped. And then now I see create app here, click the create app button. And then I click create application. It will take me to the create application wizard where I would input my application name. For example, let me just put here APAC OUC, something like that. And then scrolling down, you see this feature install progressive web app. Remember we discussed about progressive web applications just now. So Apex 21.2 introduces declarative support for progressive web apps. So we will see how it looks like. So checking this and click create application. With application creation progress is shown. And then let's see. Now we run this application. See what happens if you run this application. And upon running this application, you see here, like, in the left navigation menu, so these are the pages. Now, let's go here. You see here, install app. So this is how, by clicking this one, the application gets installed on your device. So let's see what happens right now. So I would actually have to share my desktop completely so that you can see this. Now let me just click install app. And it asks me to install. So this dialog has the install button. So clicking that, now the application gets installed on my local device. And this is what you see. So right now I'm not running this in the browser, but here you see that this is running on my device, and you see this, the icon over here. So click departments, and you see click employees, and you also click seek skills. And this runs pretty much the same like how it runs in the browser. So right now, this is not running in my browser, but running from my desktop. So this is the PWA that gets installed, that got installed on my desktop. Now, let's go over one more demo. So again, I'm going to App Builder, and then this time I'm gonna create a new application again. So create a new application and call this as new features demo or something like that. Now scrolling down here, actually, let me just click create application. And then now I would use the create page wizard to create a smart filters. So create page, and then you go to report. And then you see here smart filters page. Click this one. And then give it a name, for example, smart filters. And then you click next. Create a new navigation menu entry, click next. And then you can choose the data source to be local database, REST enabled SQL, or REST data source. And in our case, we would be fine with the local database. And let's select a table or view. Let's go to table view name. And then here, let's select OEHR employee details view. So let's select this one. And scroll down a little bit. You see that the smart filters, this can be displayed either as a report or cards. So we choose cards now for this example. And scrolling down a bit, you see a couple of options of the filters that you can include in this report. Okay, so let's scroll down and select department name, job title, city, state, province, country name, and region name, and click next. Okay, so now for now, let's select title column as, let's say, first name. And you can have a smart filters in grid, float, and horizontal row display. So we would do the remaining stuff later. We would edit the page in Page Designer, and then we will change the settings, the attributes. So let's click create. And now you're navigated to Page Designer. And in here, you see that these are the filters. If you want to create additional filters, right click this and click create filter. So I'm not going to create any new filters at this point, but what I would do, I would do a couple of changes, like for example, search results, and I go to attributes. And let me just make a couple of changes here. So scroll down a bit. So for appearance, for title, let's change this to advanced formatting, and then input HTML expression. Let's cue this as, sorry, let's just copy double time. So we just use this once. So first name and last name, and then scroll down a bit. For subtitle, let's select a column. Let's say country name. Scroll down a bit, and for body, let's choose job title, and scroll down a bit. For secondary body, let's choose department name. Under icon and badge, I'm going to make a couple of changes. So icon source can be, let's say, icon class, and icon CSS classes can be FA user, for example. And then scroll down under, so here for badge column, let's select the badge column to be salary, and the badge label is salary again. So I think we are good with the changes that we want, and then now save on the page to see how the smart filters would look like for us. So logging in. Now the smart filters page is displayed for you. You see that there are different filters here, suggestions here, like department name, job title, city, state, province, and country name. And clicking this one also, it would show up department name, job title, city, state, province, country name, and region name. Let's see, for example, if you'd like to change the department name, you click this one. And right now it is showing shipping. So deselect this one and just show finance. So it gets refreshed, and also include purchasing, it gets refreshed. And now let's click, for example, state, province, it shows Washington, and for region name, it shows Americas. And here you can also change this to, just play around with the filters, and the underneath that you see the suggestion chips as you click through. So let's click this one, for example, job title, and you see programmer, just displays like 29, and this is for 5. Let's see, programmer just displays 5 for you. So that's pretty much. And then we also talked about the data packager feature introduced in Apex 21.2. So let's have a quick look at that, how it looks like. So just go to this particular application homepage, and then you click supporting objects. Basically, when you export an application, you can export your application definition along with the underlying database objects. You can also package the underlying data in the tables. So how do you do that? So here you see create data package, click this one, and it shows you a wizard. So just give a name, and then you select the tables, and then proceed with the wizard steps. So that will give you, that will help you to package your data, and which you can export along with your application definition along with the underlying database objects. So let's move to the slide deck again. So let's go to the Apex roadmap section now. So far we have covered what has been introduced in 2021 in Apex 21.1 and Apex 21.2. Now in 2022, we'll be having 2 releases like 22.1 and 22.2. So what we're going to discuss right now is in general, the roadmap, the features that we have in our roadmap. So some of them might make into 22.1 or 22.2, but this is a general roadmap, and not everyone that we discuss today will make into 22.1 or 22.2. So the first thing is in Apex roadmap is the extended support for MySQL. So we will be extending support for MySQL databases by enabling the MySQL SQL dialect to be used for advanced capabilities of Apex. So basically, we will allow access MySQL databases through REST-enabled SQL, and you can use MySQL databases directly on as the data source for all read-only components, such as reports, charts, and calendars to start with. Then the next one is the workflow feature. So workflow, basically, we'll be introducing something called as approvals component to start with. So we will be supporting integrated workflow capabilities, which provide human workflow with actionable emails, unified task list, and connectivity to external services with pre-built connectors. So we will be initially introducing an approvals component, and there will be a unified task list component page from where all human tasks for approvals can be managed. And this feature also includes some new processing elements to create and manage human tasks. Dialog UX update for interactive grid and interactive report. So we'll be having improved UI and consistency across IG and IR dialogues. Visual application logic provides a visual representation of application logic, including page flow and client-side interactions. We also plan to modernize SQL Workshop. So the object browser especially would be modernized with support for more object types and better accessibility. Then another feature which we have in the roadmap is the built-in data generator. So you can intelligently generate data in CSV, JSON, or SQL formats, or insert sample data directly into tables within your schema. So this particular feature will help you to create blueprints with tables, columns, and custom data sources to quickly prototype your data. These table prints or blueprints can be created from either existing tables, from scratch, or by importing JSON blueprint files. And these blueprints can generate thousands of rows of data, and these can be exported to CSV, JSON, or SQL insert files. Okay, so the next features in the roadmap are easier samples or starter applications installation. So we plan to make the installation of sample and starter apps easy for you. So right now, you need to go to the GitHub page and download the sample applications, and then you need to import them into your workspace and install them. So what we're gonna do is provide wizard-based installation experience that downloads and install applications directly from GitHub. And then improved printing and PDF export, expanded configuration and user interface options for report printing, and interface to PDF printing service with Oracle REST data services. The roadmap also includes expanded capabilities in Apex Service Cloud Console. So there will be improved integration of Apex within Cloud Service Console to enable easy access to monitoring, alerts, and other common tasks. Integration with developer lifecycle services. Our roadmap includes improved integration with cloud-based and on-premises source code control and CI/CD pipeline automation. But to learn more about the Apex new features, you need to navigate to the apex.oracle.com and then to the new features page. So let me just quickly show you. So just need to go to apex.oracle.com. So apex.oracle.com is the one-stop shop for everything about Apex. So go here, scroll down, and you see here, see what's new. So click this, and you will be able to learn more about what's new in Oracle Apex 21.2. And similarly, if you would like to know new features in the previous releases, click View Release Notes here under Explore Previous Releases. And you see here after version 21.2, you have version 21.1 as well. I think that completes the session. Once again, thank you so much for joining in for my session, Apex New Features and Roadmap today. I wish you a happy rest of the day and also enjoy the upcoming sessions in APAC Apex Days 2022. Thank you so much. Bye for now.